In today's video, I want to talk about how gluten can cause havoc in your gut. Now, if you've ever suffered digestive problems in the past, and most of us have at some time or other, then you know how uncomfortable that can be. People with celiac disease or people with a gluten intolerance have that suffering every day. Hi, I'm Mike Hines from JustKnowGluten.com. If you like the content and you like the video, why not give it a like? Why not subscribe to my channel? Just hit the subscribe button down below. Having said all that, let's get straight into the content. As you may or may not be aware, we are currently in the midst of an obesity epidemic that has reached epic proportions. Life expectancies are on the decline, weight-related illnesses are on the up, and our health, in general at least, is deteriorating by the year. But why is this, you ask? With all of the advancements in modern technology, science and medicine, surely we should be fitter and healthier than ever before. Well, we should be, but we aren't. We aren't because we are obviously doing something very wrong. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out where we are going wrong either. We are slipping up because we are leading increasingly sedentary lifestyles. We aren't getting enough exercise and we're eating the wrong foods. The modern westernized diet is far from ideal. In fact, it's downright awful as far as a lot of people are concerned. You see, nowadays, food and drink is produced not with health and wellness in mind, but rather with speed, profit, margins and convenience in mind. Foods are heavily processed to within the end of their lives, and as a result, by the time they reach store shelves, they contain a mere fraction of the nutrients that they held before the processing took place. When foods are processed, they lose much of their nutrient contents. And as well as that, they're also then often combined with artificial chemical ingredients to help promote taste, color, and shelf life. Bread is a fine example of this. As you probably know, wholemeal bread is considered to be far healthier than white bread. This is because it undergoes far less processing. One ingredient hiding in bread, however, that we'd like to talk about today is gluten. You may have heard people talking about gluten allergies and intolerances, but what precisely is gluten, and is it really as bad as some people claim? Gluten is a type of protein that is found within grains such as barley, rye and wheat. That means that gluten is found in any products which contain these ingredients. Bread is a great example, though there are of course many other foods made from these products and containing these products. Now, the thing to remember here is that gluten intolerances and gluten allergies are not the same as celiac disease. Celiac disease is a form of immune disease which results in irritation and damage to the small intestine after gluten has been consumed. In actual fact, gluten is such a troublesome little critter that there are 5 different problems people can face when it comes to consuming gluten. And these are celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, gluten intolerance, gluten ataxia, dermatitis herpetiformis. Many people also claim to have a gluten allergy. In reality, there is no such thing as a gluten allergy. What we have, however, is a wheat allergy, and that is what many people confuse with a gluten allergy. So, to break it down for you, it is impossible to be allergic to gluten, but it is not impossible to be allergic to wheat. Those dealing with any of the aforementioned gluten-related conditions will often suffer from a wide range of symptoms, all of which happen to be very similar. And these include bloating, distended stomach, stomach cramps, stomach pains, headaches, dizzy spells, tiredness, nausea, mood swings, weight loss, skin rashes and problems, and more. Well, that's a brief intro of how gluten affects your body and what we'll be covering in this video. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to have experienced digestive issues, and there's a strong chance you will have, you'll know how awful it can make you feel. For most of us, digestive issues are not very common and often only occur very so often. For people suffering with gluten-related issues, whether they be celiac disease, gluten sensitivity related, gluten intolerance related, or anything else for that matter, digestive issues are unfortunately a part of everyday life until a diagnosis is made and gluten is removed from the diet. Gluten-free diets are more prevalent in 2018 than ever before, and that trend looks set to continue for 2019 and beyond. So how does gluten cause havoc in your gut? Then let's find out, shall we? First of all, what is gluten? First things first, in order to find out how gluten affects the gut, we first need to find out what it actually is. Gluten is a collective term used for a series of proteins found within grains. It is found mostly in grains such as barley, rye and wheat. The protein is referred to as a sticky protein because it helps to hold the nutrient stores of the plant it is located within. It is this protein that gives dough that stretchy and elastic feel. Because it is so sticky, it is the perfect addition to many processed foods as it helps to bind them together. Though some people can consume gluten with no ill effects whatsoever, others are not so fortunate. So why is gluten such an issue now? More and more people are adopting gluten-free diets and lifestyles and are not looking back. They are enjoying countless health and wellness benefits, and many admit to wishing they'd started sooner. Many experts believe that the gluten we consume nowadays is not the same as the gluten that was consumed generations ago. Wheat and other grains have now been so heavily processed and genetically modified that the proteins they contain are essentially brand new. These new proteins are considered to be the root, pardon the joke, cause of the problems relating to gluten intolerances, sensitivity and other issues. What happens when we eat gluten? When we consume products containing gluten, say bread for example, once it reaches your intestines, an enzyme produced in the intestinal wall known as tissue transglutaminase gets to work on breaking down the gluten and converting it into a gliadin and glutenin, which are the original building blocks making up the gluten in the first place. Now here's where things can get a little tricky for some people. As the produce travels along your digestive system, gut-associated lymphoid tissue, or GALT as it is known, gets to work. GALT is basically the immune system of the gut. It works like a security guard, examining everything to ensure that there are no potentially dangerous ingredients in there. If you can eat gluten with no issues, this process runs smoothly. If, however, you suffer from a gluten-related condition, the GALT identifies the gliadin protein as a threat. It then dispatches antibodies to try to neutralize that threat. But the problem is that these antibodies also attack the tissue transglutaminase. And this causes disruptions to cells in the gut known as microvilli, which are responsible for nutrient absorption. This negatively impacts the nutrient absorption. This causes inflammation in the gut, leading to bloating, pain, gas, cramping, and other digestive issues. I do hope you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful and informative. If so, why not give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye for now.